Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, Tips by Toya. Today I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to choose a school. Now, why should you listen to me? Who is Toya, and why should I even take the time to watch this video? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I spent 17 years working as an admission officer at a graduate school that focused on education programs. So the tips that I share are going to be general enough that you can utilize them for either graduate or undergraduate study. And of course, if you have questions, definitely do your research, visiting the websites of the schools that you're interested in and reaching out to their admissions staff if their website doesn't answer all of your questions. All right, so let's jump right in. The first thing to consider is the reputation of the school and the program that you're interested in pursuing. So don't focus on the name of the school. You want to focus more on the research that the faculty are doing. So what do you want to study? What do you see as your ideal work day once you're done with your program? And are the faculty at that institution going to help you get there? Are there going to be enough resources available to you while you're studying to help you be successful so that you can complete the program and then move into your career path? Those are things that you want to think about. And then, definitely rely on, for those of you who are currently in an undergraduate program and are researching graduate programs, rely on your faculty at your current institution. Maybe they have some suggestions for you. Maybe they know of a faculty member at another institution or your home institution that offers the research that you're interested in studying more. So utilize all of the resources that are available to you. Think about also the length of the program. Now, on the graduate level, I can tell you that most master's programs range anywhere from 1 to 3 years. And on the doctoral level, those programs range anywhere from 4 to 7 years. So when you're considering graduate study, don't focus so much on the location, because ultimately you don't have to live there for the rest of your life. You're only going to be there for a couple years, but you want to make sure, again, as I mentioned, that the resources and the faculty expertise is available to you. And that leads me to another point. Let's stay here for a little bit and talk about graduate programs. So in most cases, master's programs, or master's programs, MSD, MSED, MPE, these are Master of Science in Education, Master of Science in Philosophy. They run the gamut. Essentially, it's a master's program showing that you have mastered your craft at this level. On the doctoral level, keep in mind that there are a couple different options to use. So one being the PhD, which is the doctorate in philosophy. And that's typically for those folks who are looking to study to become faculty members at an institution or largely do some type of research. There is also a doctorate in education, also called an EDD. And that is largely for those of us who like to practice in an administrative role rather than focusing on the research. So I'd say like a president may have an EDD. A director of a program at your institution may have an EDD. A director of admissions, those types of people have doctorate in education degrees. So be aware of the type of program that you want to focus on when you are trying to choose a school. And then that leads me to my next tip, which is covering the cost of your education. Like I said, on the graduate level, there may be some merit-based aid that is offered, and that largely relies on your GPA and your standardized test scores, whether that's a GRE or a GMAT. So you want to inquire about that. Make that one of the lists of questions that you ask when you are, or look for when you're researching the schools that you want to apply to. So do they have like a a limit, or is there like a base standardized test score that they look for in terms of admitting someone into a program? So yeah, find out if that exists and what that score is, if they're willing to share that information with you. Because if there is merit-based aid available, then you want to do your best work in terms of studying for the test and getting the highest score that you can get on that test, so that you can get the most aid available. There may be some need-based aid that's offered as well. So definitely complete your FAFSA when you are able to. I think the FAFSA allows you to submit school codes for up to 6 institutions. So you definitely want to make your list of schools that you're interested in applying to and include that on your FAFSA, because the institutions have that information, will get access to that information as well, and be able to offer you any need-based aid if that's something that they offer at that particular school at the time of your acceptance. Now, it's going to be different on the undergraduate level. You want to just, stay in touch with the financial aid office to find out what aid is going to be available. It's largely going to be based off of your parents' income. But know that as a graduate student, you're going to be considered independent. So it's going to be your own income. So you're probably going to, if you're moving directly from undergraduate institution directly into graduate study, then you're probably going to have a lower income if you've only attended school full-time. On the doctoral level, things get to be a little bit different in that some programs offer full funding for PhD programs. So on the PhD level, students, and this does not apply to every single school, but there are programs available that offer full funding. And full funding includes tuition and general fees that are covered by the institution for the 9-month academic year. That means that you can take up to 3 to 4 classes per semester at no cost to you. That may be in exchange for some research type work with a faculty member that you've been assigned. And oftentimes, if you accept this funding, it means that you can't work anywhere else because of tax purposes, or there's just not enough time. I don't know anybody that can take 4 classes and work 20 hours a week and then go and do another full-time job. It's just not possible, and there are federal laws associated with the funding that the institution provides you with. So keep that in mind. What else do I want to tell you about doctoral study? I think that's it. I can't think of anything right now, but I will leave it in the comments if something comes to mind. The next tip is going to be the class profile. Look for that information on the admissions website of the school that you're applying to. This profile will give you like an average age of student, an average type of student, male versus female. it may break it down by program, it may break things down by program, but ultimately it gives you just that extra layer of comfort knowing that the school that you're interested in, there are people who look like you and you won't sort of stick out like a sore thumb, or just give you a sense of, you know, another option in another piece of information that you can use to ultimately decide on fit. Is this environment good for me? Am I going to be successful here? Are the people that I'm going to be in classes with, um, are they, do they look like me? Do they come from the same background as me? If not, how do they typically handle, I mean, where do people come from? All these questions that you're thinking of that you don't expect to get answers to, some schools do provide that information. So take a look, because it will absolutely help you when you're making your considerations. The other thing that I would suggest is to attend an admission event. So if they're going to be hosting like an open house or some sort of virtual event, make the time to attend if you can, because this is a great opportunity for you to just hear from faculty that are at that institution, definitely to connect with the admission staff, and hopefully give you an opportunity to connect with a current student so that you can get some one-to-one time with that student and ask a lot of questions. Because like I said, there are fit is just as important as the cost. So if you can, and they make it available to you, an opportunity for you to speak with a current student, then you absolutely want to, just get a sense of that person's story. Where did they come from? How did they make the transition? What are their plans post graduation? And how are they doing in their program? What classes are they taking? How do they feel in those classes? What support are they getting, both from the faculty and from the administrators that are at that institution? And what sort of centers are there for helping students just to remain successful? Are there writing centers? Are there, hangout spots after class just for you to decompress from the pressure of academic life? And you also want to, like I said, get your questions answered from the administrators. If I apply to your program, what can I expect? If I apply to your program and I submit all of my documentation, then how long will it take to get a decision notification? What happens after I say, yes, I'm going to accept the offer and I'm going to come to your school? Where do I go next? Like, you want to get all of your questions, as many of your questions answered as you can. And because it's an investment. So you're going to be spending a chunk of your time with these people at their institution. So like I said, fit is just as important as cost. And also, there may be an opportunity for you to receive an application fee waiver for attending an admission event. So I know that many of you are considering applying to more than one school, and those application fees add up. Like $75, that's a bill, or some shoes, or something that I could be spending on something much better than an application fee. So ask those questions. Those are the types of questions you want to walk away with clarity on. And that they, not all schools widely advertise that they offer application fee waivers. The worst they can tell you is no. So doesn't hurt to ask. Yeah, so that's my tip on that, which leads me to my very last tip, which is, how many schools should I apply to? It doesn't matter. I'd say it's your choice. I mean, like I said, you're the one who's going to have to submit all those applications and pay all those application fees. So be careful about where how you spread yourself. Those application fees add up, and the application requirements are, you know, tedious. They take up time. So I can't say that I have like a firm number for you to apply to. Um, but you also want to be mindful that, you know, there are out of state fees if you choose a school that is not in your hometown. So that's a factor that needs to go on your list as well. Um, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. I will be reading all of the comments I receive, and it might be helpful to share that information widely and give me an idea for another tip for another day. So, thanks, guys, for listening so far, and I look forward to having you back on my channel. Take care.